Today we're going to look at a group of words that we call quantifiers, like many, much, few, and little. We call them quantifiers because they're added before nouns to give an indication of the quantity of that noun. Is it a big quantity, a certain amount, or a small quantity? Now, in most languages, there is usually just one word that indicates a big quantity, a certain amount, or a small quantity. But in English, we have several words for each idea. For example, for a large quantity, sometimes you have to use much. Sometimes you have to use many. For a small quantity, it's sometimes little and sometimes few. We also have a little and a few. So it can get quite tricky and confusing sometimes. So in this lesson, I'm going to clarify the usage of these different words for you. By the end of the lesson, you'll have a clearer idea of when and how to use these quantifiers. So when you're ready, we can begin. Right then, let's look at some quantifiers. Let's begin with much, little, and a little. These are used before uncountable nouns. Now, what is an uncountable noun? An uncountable noun is a noun you cannot add a number to. You cannot count. For example, you can say 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, etc. But you cannot say 1 rice, 2 rices, etc. Rice doesn't take a plural. So rice is an uncountable noun. And you have to say much rice, not many rice. The opposite of much is little. So if much means a large quantity of something uncountable, then little is a small quantity of it. A little is between the two. It means not much and not little. So a little really means a certain quantity of something that you cannot count. Let's look at them in sentences. Do you eat much rice? No, I don't eat much rice. I eat little rice. Or I eat very little rice. I ate a little rice last night. Okay, moving on to many, few, and a few. These are used before countable nouns. A countable noun is a noun you can add a number to, you can count. For example, 1 book, 2 books, etc. Now be careful that not all countable nouns take the plural s when you count more than one of them. There are also irregular plurals, and remember that these are also countable nouns. For example, the plural of person is people. 1 person, 2 people. Or the plural of child is children. 1 child, 10 children. Therefore, we use many with words like books, people, and children. The opposite of many is few. So, if many means a large number of something that you can count, then few means a small number of them. And a few is between the two. It means not many and not few. In other words, it means a certain number of something. Let's look at them in sentences. Do you know many people here? No, I don't know many people. I know few people here. Or I know very few people here. I knew a few people in the town where I lived before. Okay, there are a few important points I'd like to mention here. The first point is about the phonetics of this. As the phonetic difference between few and a few, and also little and a little, is very slight, in order to make it clear to the listener which one we're saying, we often add the word very to the words little and few. Look at this sentence. I usually eat very little rice, but I ate a little rice last night. If I remove very and say, I usually eat little rice, but I ate a little rice last night, it's very hard to hear the difference between the first part and the second part. That's why we often use very to insist on the really small quantity. It's the same with few. Look at the sentence. I know very few people here, but I knew a few people where I lived before. Right, next point is to do with some words that you expect to be countable, but are actually uncountable in English. This is maybe because they are countable in your own language. The most important of these are information, knowledge, advice, evidence, research, news, progress, work, money, traffic, equipment, accommodation, furniture, luggage, software, hardware. So, although in your own language you may be able to make these nouns into plural countable nouns, in English they are uncountable nouns and combine with much, little, and a little. So the final point, if you want to make an uncountable noun countable, you should use an appropriate unit of measurement. For example, much milk or many glasses of milk. Much equipment or many pieces of equipment. Much bread, many slices of bread. Okay, let's look at two other quantifiers, a lot of and some. If you don't want to worry about whether a noun is countable or uncountable, you can use expressions that work for both groups. These are a lot of, or lots of, and some. Lots of is just a little more informal than a lot of. A lot of can replace much or many. For example, I eat a lot of rice, or I know a lot of people. Some can replace a little or a few. For example, I ate some rice last night. Or I knew some people where I lived before. Right, a couple of points about the usage of a lot of. The first point is that a lot of, or lots of, is more common than much and many in positive sentences. For example, it is more common to hear I eat a lot of rice rather than I eat much rice, or I know a lot of people than I know many people. In negative sentences and questions, you can use both. The final point about a lot of is that after words like to, so, as, and very, we always use much and many, not a lot of. For example, so much information. Too many questions. As much money. Very many ways. And the last point we need to look at are comparatives of these words. Much, in its comparative form, is more. I don't eat much rice. I eat more bread than rice. Many is also more. I don't know many people here. I used to know more people where I lived before. The comparative form of little is less. I eat very little rice. I eat even less bread. And for few, it is fewer. I knew very few people where I lived before. I know even fewer people here. Right then, that's the end of the lesson. Let's finish with a gap-filling exercise. For each sentence, I've given you a choice of 2 expressions, and I'd like you to choose the expression that is most appropriate, both in terms of grammar and usage. Okay, let's begin. Do you drink coffee? Do you drink much coffee? No, I used to drink coffee. I used to drink a lot of coffee. But nowadays I drink coffee. But nowadays I drink very little coffee. How about you? Oh, I drink too coffee. I drink too much coffee. And I eat sweets. And I eat a lot of sweets. They say coffee is good for your metabolism. They say a little coffee is good for your metabolism. It helps you to burn calories. It helps you to burn more calories. I don't think people would believe that. I don't think many people would believe that. Where did you hear that? I read it somewhere weeks ago. I read it somewhere a few weeks ago. I think readers would buy that. I think very few readers would buy that. Is there evidence for this claim? Is there much evidence for this claim? I don't know. The article provided information on research. The article provided very little information on research. There are so claims, and so research. There are so many claims and so little research. They should make claims and do research. They should make fewer claims and do more research. Well, in any case, coffee now and then can't do too harm. In any case, a little coffee now and then can't do too much harm. That's true. I should just have coffee and lumps of sugar in each cup. I should just have less coffee and fewer lumps of sugar in each cup. Obviously, the sugar, the better. Obviously, the less sugar, the better. Since I stopped taking sugar in my drinks, I am kilos lighter. I am a few kilos lighter. You lose weight so easily. It will take me time to lose as weight as you have. It will take me some time to lose as much weight as you have. I know, I'm very lucky. People lose weight as easily as I do. Very few people lose weight as easily as I do. Well, that's the end of the gap filling exercise. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson and the exercise. As you know, you can now go to our website anglolink.com for more explanations and exercises. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye now.